Hello, it's Dean here. Welcome to Depth of Field. This is the bonus presentation, or one of the bonus presentations, and what I'll do over a period of time is I'll just keep adding them if I think there's anything of relevance in relation to depth of field. So this is the first bonus that I've included for you to view. As always, this information is copywritten to www.clickherephotographytips.com, and it's just a couple of examples that I've taken myself in relation to using depth of field. Now this one here, it's just a bird that I actually took the photo at the zoo, and you'll notice that the background is very blurry or out of focus, but you may be able to notice also that while the eyes are in focus, it's a little bit out of focus just here, and then it goes out of focus just up here at the top of his head, and then the background is also out of focus. So what I've used is an f-stop or an aperture of about 5.6, which has increased my shutter speed, and that was with a 300mm Canon lens. And yeah, that's how depth of field works. You can blow your background out, because if I used a higher aperture, just say f16 or f11 for example, what would have happened was that a lot more of the bird would have been in focus. For example, his nose would have been in focus, or his beak, not nose, birds have beaks, don't they? Anyway, his beak would have been in focus, and a bit of the background would have been in focus. So it would have put him a little bit more into the background. But by using an aperture of 5.6, or a wider lens opening, or f-stop as we call it, I've blown the background out of focus, and it really brings him to the front. I really like that photograph as an example. This one here, it's just a photograph that I took of my Hasselblad X-Pan 2 camera. You notice that the front of the camera is in focus, or the lens area, somewhere along here, and the background is out of focus. So this is in focus here, you see that, but this end, because I had the camera on an angle, is out of focus. So the lens, or the name of the camera, is out of focus. So is the top part of the camera, and anything basically going back along this sort of line here is out of focus. Once again, I've used a wide aperture, or f-stop, to take this photograph, which sort of really compresses the image and blows the background out of focus. You'll notice that a little bit of the foreground is also out of focus around here as well. This one here, I took it at SeaWorld in Queensland. It's using a larger aperture, as in like the lens opening is smaller. So it's probably with about, let's say, f16 or f22, and that was with a 300mm lens as well. You'll notice that it's in focus from Bert here, and Ernie's just starting to go out of focus in the background, and the people in the background are a little bit out of focus. So what I've done there is just used a slightly larger aperture, as in f11 or so, something like that. This one here, now this is landscape photography. Now this is one of my passions that I have. This was taken with a Hasselblad X-Pan 2 camera. I think it was the 45mm lens it would have been. But what I've done, because I've used a very slow shutter speed, I've had to use a tripod, and there'll be more on using tripods in other videos in the future. But you'll notice here that, see how the water's all blurry around here? It's just from using a slow shutter speed. The slower the shutter speed, anything that moves is recorded as a blur. Now this exposure, it might have been, I can't remember offhand, but it may have been something like a 2-minute exposure at, let's say f22. I mainly shoot everything at f22, but I also have a trick in relation to extending my depth of field, and it's a fantastic trick for using it with landscape photography, but I haven't actually made a video on that yet. I will in the future, and it's just fantastic. You use it with a manual lens, and it works superbly. Here's another one. This one was taken in Victoria, here in Australia. It's one of the waterfalls. Once again, you'll notice that the movement in the water has just turned into a blur. There's a little bit of blurring just here, but also with the waterfall, you notice how these streams of water come down. well, they're also recorded as a blur. Now, because this photograph was taken over a period of time, it was quite a windy day as well. So you'll notice a bit of movement in the ferns here, up here, and there's a little more on the other side as well. So what I've done here with landscape photography, I've used an aperture of f/22, which of course slows your shutter speed down. Once again, you need a tripod to be able to do this because there's not enough available light to be able to take a photograph like this and doing it handheld. If you have any questions in relation to what you've seen in any of the videos that I've produced, look, just get back to me and let me know, and I'll try to give you an answer as soon as I can. And if you like what you've seen, look, please feel free to tell your friends about it. And you'll notice a link to the right hand side of this video, and I encourage you to click on the link. Just have a bit of a look at what's in there. If it's relevant to you, feel free to read it a bit further. If not, just move on to the next video. This ends bonus video number 1, and I'd just like to thank you for your time.